Hello everyone, I'm back with another list review. This one is from TankerBricks, linked to his YouTube channel in the doobly-doo. TankerBricks has sent me a list. He describes himself as a competent general, but with a lot to learn. And TankerBricks, I apologize if I'm going to shit all over your list. I don't mean to do that. I do competitive bolt action, right? And so I am all about list optimization and tactics to win the game of bold action. I don't pretend to teach people how to enjoy bold action. So if you enjoy it in a different way from what I am presenting here, please don't hate me. It's just this is what I do, right? Um, and there's a lot of choices here that I find to be not optimized in my worldview. If you can make it work, good on you. If the meta where you're at is different, good on that meta. You found something you enjoy. But let me go through the list, and we can sort of talk about what it is that I mean. You'll all see what it is that is bugging me basically. So here it is. This is the list. The first thing I notice is the order dice count. You have 11 order dice in a 1,000-point list. 11 order dice is most of the time at most events low, which means that you'll most likely your opponent will get the order dice when they want them, not when you want yours. Um, Most people at events go for 13 to 16-ish order dice. That's the sort of the competitive range where your units are still strong enough to do what they're supposed to do, and your order dice count is good enough so you'll not be like overwhelmed by enemy action. And we can see where this goes a bit off for me with the first lieutenant. A first lieutenant is the more expensive choice, and you've bought him veteran, which is even more expensive. So you're paying 103 point for two guys. You can get a 10-man regular unit for that price. So for me, buying an inexperienced second lieutenant for 35 points is just as good. You might argue that this makes the lieutenant more survivable, and if you're good at using Snap 2, that might be a thing. For me, he becomes way too expensive with this setup. I also have doubts about the setup of these regular infantry sections. Now, the first one is a 10-man unit with an LMG in it. For me, the LMG speaks about a unit that you want to be a backline holder, because the LMG has the range to actually sit in your own deployment zone and deliver pins. But why then buy a 10-man unit? You could get the same out of a 5-man unit at 50 points, not 100 points. So you're paying extra points for something that, if it's going to be a backline holder, it's just not needed. If it's going to be a skirmish unit pushing into the center of the table, I also think it's too big for that. You can get away with 6 to 8-man skirmish units. They'll deliver pins and they're pretty survivable. Final thing I will note is that most competitive players agree that the LMGs are overcosted for what they do. I am one of those people. I think the LMG is not worth it. So this is why I'm criticizing that LMG choice. I can understand it if it's a backline holder LMG, but then the unit size is just off for me. Then we have an infantry section, again a 10-man section with a VB launcher. And I think that there is something there. You can go VB launchers. That is actually an interesting choice because that is a possibility for you to shoot at a second unit. So this unit can split fire, which is cool. And but at the same time, this is a skirmish unit. It's definitely a skirmish unit because you only have 18 inches of range for that VB launcher. So you're going to have to push up. For me, this unit is also a little bit too big to be a perfect skirmish unit. But I do see some point in this unit. The final unit is again a 9-man rifle unit. Regulars. Again, I'm not sure what this is doing. Is it going to be a skirmish unit? Then you need it to be maybe 8. You could get away with 9, so maybe this is a skirmish unit. But you'll definitely not want it to be a backline holder. There's no reason to be backline holders when you've only got rifles. Cavalry section. Ooh, I love me some cavalry. Veterans, 6-man, mounted on horses. These are really good. If you cut some points from some of the other units, I feel like you might put 1 or 2 extra men into this cavalry unit, because this is going to be a target for your enemy. They're going to be shot at, plain and simple. And they want to be able to skirmish with the carbines and then charge, because you got tough fighter veterans, right? They should be able to handle many targets, although not dedicated assault troops. So I really like veteran cavalry. That's cool. Then we have a Foreign Legion unit. Again, 10-man legionaries. They are stubborn, and they have a light machine gun. Again, I don't understand what this light machine gun is doing here. Stubborn is really useful if you're pushing up into the center table, if you're an assault unit, or if you're a skirmish unit, but not if you're a backline holder. So I think for me, legionnaires need to be skirmish type unit in the center of the board. They don't need the light machine gun then, especially because they're already pretty expensive. Then we have a medium mortar, regular. If you're buying a regular medium mortar, find the money to buy the spotter. 10 points for a spotter. Otherwise, there's no reason to take the mortar regular. Yes, they do become a little bit more survivable, but it's still 1 shot, 1 kill from a sniper. So if you're going to go without spotter, I think you should buy inexperienced to save the points. And if you're going to go regular, buy the spotter. Sniper team, pretty good. Veteran, doesn't need to be veteran, although that will mean you're more likely to win the sniper duel against the enemy sniper. But you could save the points and maybe buy the spotter for the mortar. Anti-tank guns. 2 medium anti-tank guns. One of them is for free. I don't think you should go this route. The commonwealth wisdom is again that anti-tank guns are not worth it. They have a 1-inch HE, which means that they are not a threat to enemy infantry, really. And at the same time, they are good against enemy tanks, but most often the tanks will just move around those lines of fire where your medium anti-tank gun can shoot, because it's fixed, so it will stay where you put it. I don't think they're worth it at all. I think you should go to howitzers. The howitzers are way more worth it, and they have a plus pen still. So I think medium howitzer has a +3 or something. That is enough to damage most tanks, or at least pin them. That is, and they can threaten enemy infantry. So way more worth it. Way more worth it. And a Renault R40. I am not a fan of this tank. If you're going to go with the Renault Tanks, I think you should go for the darker one, the one that has multiple machine guns. This tank is a 1-man turret, armored all around, 8+, slow, with a light anti-tank gun and a coaxial MG. It is not a threat for most things. They can safely ignore this, and because it's slow, they can even ignore it even more. The 1-man turret means that you're also likely to lose a few order tests, which is not cool. I think for French lists, I think you should maybe try and avoid the tanks. Although there are a few tanks in the French list that I would go with, but I think the right way to go is to max out on artillery and then have a lot of infantry to put out in front of that artillery. So yeah, I am terribly sorry that I didn't like your list, TankerBricks. There's a lot of things I would change. There is. So yeah, sorry about that. But if you do enjoy the list like it is, and if it works for you, please use it. Don't listen to my advice. I'm just an evil whacker on the internet. Right. Cheers.